wants a line above here, and it said, and she wants it to say above it, if you get past this, you got to it. I actually didn't know I was good at drawing until I went to school and realised that actually people just can't draw. At this point, I tattooed like 2 mates, which is surprising how many people will let you tattoo them for free. So you're going to be tattooing all of their customers and will just tell me you've been tattooing 2 years. I was like, uh-oh. They didn't really know what a bad tattoo was. I knew, because I was like, well, that's a bit of a wobbly line. But let me do a portrait of Mike Tyson on you. And he was like, okay. I was like, because he might see it. He might not have, but you know, as a result of this just momentum building, that's when tattoo fixers saw me and noticed me because of that. And that just changed my life. So we're casting for a new program on Channel 4. Do you want to be part of it? I thought, that's a wind up. I thought, what if it's not? So I'll just write back anyway. I always have that thing. It's like 1 million people can tell you you're not good at something. They'll tell you, no, you know, you're not going to do that. But it takes one person to go, I think you would. And that changed your whole life. Like the motto is happy to help. You get to tattooing, it's not the same. It's the customer's always wrong in tattooing.
To keep that level of concentration.
I didn't.
God
knows what that tattoo looks like now.
He's also got Daniel on his arm. Last question. Sum yourself up in 3 words.
Driven, passionate, arsehole. No. I'm joking. No.
Get that on as a tattoo.
Very quiet in here, isn't it?
Oh, very serious.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not what you need. It's
not
on a 5-day bender in Dubai, mate.
No, it's not.
Were you playing football over there?
I was, yeah. Well, trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was wicked, mate. It was really good, yeah. Went out with their... So my mate, it's called Kevin Cooper. He's Wimbledon's top ever goal scorer. And he basically runs this thing called Celebrity Soccer. And he's raised, I think it's 1.6 million for charity over the last 6 years. So he does like puts on these games with a load of celebs from the UK and for all different charities. And so he phoned, I haven't actually played him for about 1.5 years. I used to do him a lot back in the day. And then he said, oh, we're doing it in Dubai. So I was like, he goes, do you want to come? And it was like, you know, flights and hotel paid for. And I was like, well, Dubai isn't really my scene. I never thought it would be my scene, but I thought, you know, it's not somewhere I'd actually just pay to go. So while it was there on offer, I thought, yeah, why not go? And do you know what? I've actually had a wicked time. It was really good. It's a weird setup, Dubai. It's a bit like, it doesn't look real. So it's, has anyone been to Dubai? Yeah. It's a bit of a, it's like, everything looks too perfect there. But it is quality. I had a good time there. I enjoyed it. Got back yesterday, but hardly slept.
You're suffering or you're okay?
No, I'm all right. I'm not under the influence or anything. But, you know, I'm a bit tired, but I'm all good.
So, start as we mean to go on.
Yeah.
Talk to me about little Jay. I mean, as a child, what were you like as a child?
Quiet, quite introverted. I lived with my mum and my dad and my brother. There's just the 4 of us. We're a really close family. Grew up in a small town in North Wales, just outside of Rhyl. If anyone knows Rhyl.
It's where I spent all my childhood on holiday.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I grew up. And yeah, I was quite an introverted child, into football, but always into drawing. Some of my earliest memories are picking up a pencil and just drawing. I used to come home from school, like finish at 3 o'clock, straight into the living room. It was a bit weird. I used to walk in, strip down to my boxers and lie on the floor, just drawing all night till I went to bed. And I thought, oh, you should do that every night. And I used to do draw portraits of footballers just till I went to sleep, and that was it. Every night for years and years and years, to the point where my mum and dad were actually a bit worried about me because my brother used to go out all the time. And they'd be like, take him out. And I'd be like, no, I want to just draw all night. So yeah, I just did that. And then, I was into football and stuff in school, but I wasn't the best at football. And then here I'm playing football in Dubai, like weird. It's but yeah, that was it. And then in school, I did art in school when it was like compulsory and stuff, but it wasn't like, I just used to like drawing with a pencil. So I didn't like doing like the clay modelling and all the painting and stuff. And I think because of that, my art teacher actually didn't like me. So it's funny because she gave me a grade which was a C and an effort grade of 5, which was the worst effort grade you could get.
Really?
Yeah. Which I also thought wasn't right because I knew I was better at drawing than most of the people in the class, because people used to ask me to do their homework for them and stuff. And it's weird, actually. I actually didn't know I was good at drawing until I went to school and realised that actually people just can't draw. So like people would be drawing like I remember this time there was this like plant pot and we all had to just draw it, and I'm drawing it and everyone's looking at me going, wow, yours is amazing. I'm looking at yours and going, are we looking at the same thing? Yeah. So then people would ask me to do that. So anyway, but because I've been drawing every night and I had these like this portfolio of footballers, my mum and dad knew how good I was at drawing. So when I came home with this effort grade, my dad was like, what's that about? So came to parents' evening, he was like, I want to see her. So I was like, oh God. So anyway, I go to parents' evening, I walked up to her and she goes, I said, I got an appointment with you at 5 o'clock. And she goes, what's your name? I said, Jamie Hutton. And she went, do I teach you? And I was like, yeah. And my dad was like, well, it's funny you should say that. And he whips out my portfolio with all my drawings that I've been doing since I was a kid and whacks it on in front of the table. And I was just like, oh God. I was just like, and all the people around here were looking and I was going, he was going, look at them. So she was going, oh yeah, they're good. And he was going, and she was trying to shut it. And he was going, no, look at the next one. I was going, Dad, you know. And he goes, because you've given him this, but that doesn't really match up, does it? So she was like, no. So anyway, long story short, I got moved from her class and got moved to another art class. And I thought, I'm just going to have to prove to this teacher. So I remember I had this Liverpool watch that my dad bought me. And I went home and I thought, I'm just going to smash this. So I spent like 5-6 hours on drawing this watch off my wrist. And I took it in the next day and I got an A. And but then that actually knocked me confidence for picking art for GCSE. This was when it was compulsory. So I didn't actually pick art for GCSE because of that. I thought, I've proved my point now. And then that's it. So I didn't do art for GCSE. And then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know about tattooing or anything like that. I just didn't have a clue. So I stayed on to sixth form, really to just bum about for a bit. Got a job when I was 16 working at McDonald's. My dad made me get that job. He just said to me, you know, listen, you got to pay your way. Go and get a job. Got a job at McDonald's, hated it. And then I did that for 2 years while I was working at sixth form. Then I tried to upgrade by going to Asda, and I ended up on the fish counter, which was the worst, the most embarrassing job in the world because I stank of fish and I had this green hat on, and any pretty girls walked past me, I'd be like that. Oh, it was horrible, it was. So I was doing that through sixth form. And then I ended up, while I was doing that as well, I started DJing in a nightclub as well. So I had a lot of jobs going on at one time. And then I watched a program called Miami Ink. And that's when I saw tattooing for the first time and thought, because to me, tattooing was a bit rogue and a bit like the old school tattoos you imagine, like big bikers and covered in like neck tattoos, and it just weren't me at all. But then I watched that show and it opened my eyes to tattooing being an art form. And I started thinking, I think I would like to do that. And then I saw how cool I thought it was, and then I saw how cool everyone else thought they were, and I thought, God, I'd love to be a famous tattooist. And then it just was in my mind then, that's what I wanted to be. And so my brother was getting tattooed. My dad actually didn't like tattoos at all and didn't want us to ever get tattooed. My brother went and got a tattoo and he hid it from my dad for 2 years. And then when he found out, he went mad. So I actually thought when I was going to get into the world of tattooing that my dad was going to be the one who was like, you ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And actually he was like, you'd be really good at that. And I thought, wow. So yeah, I went. My brother was getting tattooed once, and I went in and took my work in there. And my brother said, "Oh, Jay's really good at tattooing." Showed him my work, and long story short, he took me on. Yeah. So that's up to about 18 years old.
So how long were you working there for?
I was there for about 3 years, but actually I got thrown in at the deep end because when I first started at the tattoo shop, he said to me, "You know, you won't pick up a tattoo machine for 3 years." Which at the time I was like, wow, you know, that's a long time. But I wasn't particularly academic. I was just average. So I wasn't going to go to university or do anything like that. But I thought if I did, I'd probably be doing a minimum of a 3-year course, doing anything I wanted to do anyway. So I'd rather spend my time focusing on this, which I'm passionate about, because it'll be a long-term thing for me that I know I want to do. So that was it. I was doing all the tattoo apprenticeships are not like normal apprenticeships.
Are they not?
No. you get talked to like shit. You get treated like shit. Like, I mean, you have to do all jobs that aren't even associated with tattooing, like, you know, just to prove you worth. Because at the end of the day, what's happening is you're getting a trade. He's giving you a trade for life. And as soon as you know how to tattoo, you could leave and go and open a shop, be his rival, take his work. So you have to prove yourself over a long period of time that, you know, you're worthwhile teaching this too. So I was lucky though, because 6 months into that apprenticeship, his main tattoo artist, she quit. Her name was Jane. We used to call her Doris, but she he called me one day and he said, "Oh, Doris has quit," and I said, "Oh wow," and he goes, "Yeah, so get good quick." And I was like, and at this point I'd tattooed like 2 mates. I hadn't really practiced on any fake skin. I just tattooed a few stupid mates who let me tattoo them. And which is surprising how many people will let you tattoo them for free. Like, honestly. My mates just go, I'll let you do a tattoo me. I was like, it will be really bad, you know. And they were like, nah, it'd be sound. And I was like, yes, I've ruined a few of my mates. And but basically he said to me, he goes, so you're going to be tattooing all of their customers and we'll just tell them you've been tattooing 2 years. I was like, okay. Uh-oh. So it just threw me in at the deep end. So at the time, this shop was back in Rhyl. And that's obviously a seaside resort where people do come down on holidays and stuff like that. So we're just getting people walking in, one out, thanks. Getting in one in, one out, just tattoo after tattoo, dolphins on your arms and all that, names on your bum. And so, yeah, I was just doing one in, one out. But it was the best thing that happened to me because I'm actually practicing. And not really many people complained. They didn't really know what a bad tattoo was. I knew because I was like, wow, that's a bit of a wobbly line. But they were just like, oh, yeah, it's brilliant. I was thinking I got away with that. And it just happened that I just got good quick because I was doing that, and so it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me. Was like he threw me in at the deep end.
So, like, who makes the decision that, or supposed to make the decision that you're now allowed to just go and like stab people and make tattoos? Is it like a course?
Nah.
Or is it like the shop owner then goes, okay, now you can go and use mine?
So it's a bit of a weird thing in tattooing that you would think because you're marking someone forever, and you know, obviously there's bloodborne diseases that it's dangerous, obviously, if you don't know the health and safety and know how to, you know, take care of your customer, basically. But there is no regulations like that. So when I first opened my tattoo shop, we'll come back to this in a minute, but I opened my shop 3 years after this. I knew I could tattoo and all that stuff, but the guy who came in from the council basically said, you know, just ask me about the health and hygiene aspect of tattooing. I tell him that. And then he goes, yeah, cool, gives me a license. And I was like, do you need to see my work? And he was like, no. And I was like, do you not need to know whether I'm good at tattooing or not? And he was like, well, I don't know what's a good tattoo and what's not. And I thought, well, that's actually true. Only tattoo artists know what's a good tattoo, really. Because I get shown tattoos all the time where people think they're good. And I'm like, they're like, you're going to love this tattoo. I'm like, so the first thing people say to me is, and this is the way I get out of this, when people ask me, they show me their tattoos and they go, what do you think? And I go, do you like it? And they go, yeah. And I go, that's all that matters then. Because I thought, I'm not here to judge and get into rows about what I think is a good tattoo or not. It could cause a right storm.
That's almost worse than saying, that's shocking.
I thought it was a nice, polite way of getting out of it.
Thinking, oh, I wish you'd have just told me that was shit.
I'll just stay silent then. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so for your gob. Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's like code for, that is woeful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I was there for 3 years. And then I wasn't actually looking to leave. But then I got an opportunity. My dad's mate was a solicitor, and he owned a building in Ellesmere Port, which is an hour away from back home in Rhyl. And he basically said, I've got a shop, Jay, if Jay wants to rent it off me. And I was 21. And my dad was like, you know, it's a good opportunity. Peter's a great guy. I think you should go for it. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? Why not risk it in it and just go for it? But because I was an hour away, I'd built up a really good reputation at the shop I was in. But an hour away, no one knew me. So it was almost like starting again. But I knew actually, well, my work was good. So I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. But when I got there, I thought, how am I going to make myself different to every other tattooist that's around here and build up a good, solid business here? So what happened was, at this point, Twitter had not long been out. So it's not like now where anyone can buy a blue tick. You know, if you had a blue tick, it was because you were that person. And it was a wild one to me, that because back in the day when I was a kid, if you wanted to speak to a celebrity, you'd have to send them a letter by pigeon. Like, you know, you couldn't just tweet them and they might see it. But I saw that as an opportunity to go, all right, okay, so if I tweet them, they might see what I've written. So I thought, well, I saw a load of tattooists, like I saw a load of celebrities getting tattooed, and that they had bad tattoos, but because they were a celebrity, the tattooist was getting so much recognition just because he tattooed like Ed Sheeran or tattooed Harry Styles and people like that. So I saw that as an opportunity to go, well, I think I'm better than them at tattooing. So if I tattoo a celebrity, then people will know me, and then people will just come to me just because I'm that guy. So I saw Twitter as an avenue towards that. So I would basically just spam the shit out of celebrities on Twitter and think, you know what, they'll either follow me or block me. So you could have tweeted a picture of your food, and I'd have replied to it saying, tattoos by Jay Hutton, follow me. And I just tweet pictures of me work. And so many celebrities followed me. And a couple blocked me.
Who blocked you?
I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to call people out. They follow me now. So yeah, a load of like worldwide celebrities started following me. So, and then off the back of that, I ended up tattooing a lad off Geordie Shore who was on it at the time. And what happened was he'd come into the shop, and then I'd get a picture of him at a shop, and then I'd post that on the internet, and then my local paper would get hold of that, and then they'd put like, it'd start calling me the celebrity tattooist, and then I'd take a picture of that, and then I'd put that on the internet, and then I tattooed Kerry Katona, and then she came in, did the same thing. She bought like paparazzi with her. I thought, this is good publicity for me. That went in the Daily Mail. So as this momentum was building, I said to my brother, I said, let me do a portrait of Mike Tyson on you. And he was like, okay. I was like, because he might see it. He might not have, but you know, he might, you know. So I ended up doing this portrait of Mike Tyson, and we tweeted it to him, and he saw it, and he retweeted it, and he was like, wrote to us saying, oh wow, this is amazing, blah blah blah, and he retweeted it, and I got like, I don't know, like 7,000 followers off it. I had about 1,200 followers on the time on Twitter, and I just started getting this reputation as like the guy who tattoos celebrities and he's the celebrity. And so then I remember this headline saying Tyson knocked out by Jay's Inc. And I just thought, that's a great photo. So I took a picture of that, whacked that on the internet. And as a result of this just momentum building, that's when Tattoo Fixers saw me and noticed me because of that. And then that just changed my life.
It's funny, isn't it, really? Because obviously you've not gone, right, here's like a lot of businesses now would sit down and say, right, here's my strategy. This is what I'm going to do. You've just thought, this is going to work, and give it a go. And it's... Do
you know what, though? It's a weird one. I've just got a delusional belief in myself. Like, to the point, if I used to say things, a couple of my mates will remind me of stories I've said to them when I was younger, and they'd be like, you said you were going to do that. And, like, it just happened. But when you said it, I thought, oh, shut up, you know? But I've always just had this mad, weird self-belief that I was going to do something and I'd make this thing. Because as soon as I saw that Miami Ink and that those people on the telly tattoo, and I thought, I want to be a famous tattooist. And it's just always been in my head. So it's always been a thing in the background of my head. It was never at the forefront. It was just always there. That's the end goal. So I'm just doing the little steps here now just to get to that point. And that's all I just did. I just did it consistently. Bang, bang, bang.
Do you think the difference, though, has been you hadn't said to yourself, I want to be a really good tattooist and open multiple shops. And you've got, I want to be a famous tattooist. It's like a completely different mindset, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like, because to me, like there'll be people go, I want to be the best tattooist in the world. Being the best I can be is all I care about. I'm not in competition with anybody because to me, there's so many, like to say you're the best tattooist in the world is like, there's so many amazing artists in the world. Like there's always someone better than you at something. So like, to me, I'm not asked about being the best tattooist in the world, but I care about being the best I can possibly be at tattooing. And that has just helped me get where I am because I just happen to be pretty good at it. You know? So that's just the mindset I have. I don't need to be in competition with anybody else. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. And it just works.
So how old were you then when tattoo artists, fixers, come knocking on the door?
I was 24. So yeah.
Still young, aren't you?
Yeah, very young. I look back now, I think, yeah, really young. Because it's 10 years this year, actually. So yeah, it was a mad one, that. Yeah. But that's another thing. So they got in touch with me. It was a weird one because they tweeted me on Twitter and it wasn't a DM or anything. And back then, again, that's a weird way to ask someone to be on telly. It was just a tweet. I thought it was a bit of a joke, to be honest. Yeah. So we're casting for a new program on Channel 4. Do you want to be part of it? I thought, that's a wind-up. I thought, what if it's not? So I'll just write back anyway. And then this casting director messaged me and said, he said, this is funny how like momentum builds. He said, your friend Sarah, this girl called Sarah, he said, put us onto you. And what happened was this, I didn't know who this was, but because I didn't build the momentum thing up with the celebrities, she was a DJ for like all the like the Towie lot, and she'd go to the Towie lot's parties and she'd be their DJ. I don't know her. She just started following me because she'd seen my work. But she knew someone in telly that then she told them about me. You need to get onto this lad because look, he's got a lot of people following him, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they got in touch with me. So all that years of work of just constant repetition. So it takes one person to change your life. Like one person to say, him, he'd be good for that. And so I always have that thing. It's like a million people can tell you you're not good at something. They'll tell you, no, you're not going to do that. But it takes one person to go, I think he would. And that's it. And that changed your whole life. I think there's a lot of people that will say a lot of things and you just have to shut that out and just think there's someone else that's going to go, yeah, he's right for that. Call him. So that's what happened.
So tell me about that journey then.
Oh, it's mad, man. Changed my life. Weird. Because I'm just a normal person. Like everybody else, I'm just a normal lad. So, you're brought up to not speak to strangers, and then a load of strangers know you and want to talk to you. so it's like, yeah. So it took a long time to get used to. But yeah, so they sent a casting director to my shop to do like a screen test, and they just like set up cameras like this, asked me a couple of questions, and then they left. And I was actually upstairs, my student, my brother was downstairs. And it's a weird feeling. I just knew I had it. But they narrowed us down from like 500 artists in the UK. I come downstairs to my brother and I said, I got that. And he was like, have you? What they've said? I said, no. I said, I just know I have. And he went, how? I said, I don't know. I said, I just know I've got that. And he was like, so anyway, 2 weeks later, they called me and they're like, yeah, we've casted you for it. They sort of told me actually it was going to be a bit different because I've never been in front of cameras before. So I thought, oh God, this is going to be, I don't know how this is going to be, but they sort of told me it'd be like a Big Brother set where there'd be cameras in the roof and there won't be no cameramen and all that. And I thought, oh, well, that's all right then. I walked there, there's like 5 cameramen with cameras. And I was like, oh God. But you quickly get used to that. And obviously, once you spend a few days with a load of people in one room, you get to know each other, you all become mates. So it's actually really fun. It's not nerve-wracking at all. I'm just doing what I do at my shop, but there's a load of cameras around and I'll start forgetting about them. And I always remember one of the camera guys saying to us, never try and pretend to be something you're not because the camera will always see through it. And I thought that's so true because I now know a lot of people in TV, and when I watch them on telly, I think, you're not like that. But yeah, so yeah, and then we didn't know if it was going to take off or not. Like, at first it was a pilot episode. I filmed that. We did a week in London filming that, and me and Sketch, the other lad on the show, none of us knew each other, by the way. Like, we literally met the night before filming.
Really, yeah.
And we just luckily we clicked. And as we filmed that pilot, they said, look, we don't even want to put it out as a pilot, we just want to commission it as a series. So we were like, the channel loved it that much, so we started filming in I think it was like the April time, because I turned 24 while I was on it, and we filmed it for a couple of months. Like, it takes like 3 months to film a whole series, which is like 10 episodes. And like a 45-minute episode might be 3 days of filming, which are like 18-hour days as well, cropped down to 45 minutes. So long time. But me and Sketch used to say, God, imagine if it takes off. Imagine if and we used to say, imagine if we became famous and people actually knew who we were, and then it just did. It just boomed. We were just like, but then it was way beyond what we could have imagined. Like, it was weird.
Well, poor sod had to sit there for 18 hours while you were like tattooing him. How does it work?
Well, so basically the setup is you walk in. There's three of us. There's we do film all the consultations in the morning. We've all got one tattoo each. There's consultations in the morning. We film all them. They take to like 2 in the afternoon just to film all 3. That's how long that takes. And then because we have the drawing inside of it, and then they have to pick and blah blah blah. So then we have a half an hour. By law, you're supposed to have a half an hour dinner break or an hour dinner break. And all the camera guys and all that get that. But as tattoo artists, I might have a 9-hour tattoo now, so I can't afford to have an hour break. I'll be here till 3 in the morning, So we just have to crack on and do our tattoo straight away. And then once you finish the tattoo, then let's film the reveal in the mirror, and then we have to film the tattoo in the back. And we were literally not getting out till like 1 a.m., but being there from 7 a.m. in the morning with like a 10-minute break because we just couldn't, as the tattooists, we literally couldn't take time out to just have a break. So it was knackering. Hardest work I've ever done. It looks like you see all the thing on the TV and you're like 45 minutes and it looks good, but I'm like, I was knackered. I was drained. But,
did you love it?
I loved it at first. Yeah, like it's fun, but once you're doing the same thing, you know. I mean, I don't know how many people here have seen the show, but there's a lot. We get a lot of bad tattoos in there, and a lot of them are. Someone's seen it there. Yeah, I won't say what some of the tattoos are, but a lot of the same stuff of people going on holiday abroad, getting bad tattoos abroad, and it's normally the same stuff. And there's only so much you can laugh at the same tattoo as well. So I'm not an actor, so like there'll be times where someone will come in and go, and they've got a knob tattooed on their leg. And they go, yeah, I've got this done. And I just go, huh. And then they'd stop. They'd go, Jay. And I go, what? And they go, can you give us a bit of a bigger reaction? I'd be like, it's just not funny anymore, like, you know. And they'd be like, just a bit more of a laugh. So they'd film it again and get the tattoo out. And I'd go, huh. And they'd go, bit more. And I'm like, I just can't force a laugh. Do you know what I mean? The funny thing was, because I used to wear the same outfit all the time, when the show came out, there'd be a scene from me from another tattoo reaction of me absolutely laughing my head off to that tattoo. Really? So they'd edit it so it made it look like I really had a big reaction. And I was like, I didn't laugh at that. So now people think I love a lot of these tattoos, which I actually didn't laugh at. But that's just TV, isn't it, and editing. So yeah.
What was the worst part about being on the show?
Wow. The days, those long days, and just you'd get ill all the time because you just run down. And then I wouldn't say there's that many actually. I'm quite an easygoing character. I'm quite laid back. I'm definitely not a diva. Some people in TV are divas, but I'm not one of them. So I'm like really, it's probably to my detriment a little bit because I'll just crack on and just do what I have to do. So I'm not someone who gets stressed that easy. I'm one of these people, right? No one will know I'm stressed. Everyone will think, he said, oh, Jay, Jay Sand. And then I'll just blow up. And everyone will be like, where did that come from? But that's what, like, maybe like the odd time I blew up, but like, we're talking over 3 years. But yeah, that's mainly because I just let loads of things go during it. I was like, let it go. And then, yeah, but that's it. It wasn't, I enjoyed most of it, to be honest. Getting used to people knowing who you are and the fame side of things was weird. It's just a weird concept. I could be walking down the road, be on my phone, and think, that lad's staring at me there. Like, what's that lad staring at? I'd be like thinking, and he'd go, all right, Jay. And I'd go, oh, sorry, you're right. Because I'm thinking, what's he looking at, you know? Yeah. So that was a weird little concept to get used to, but you get used to it pretty quick. But there was one time, like, I couldn't go anywhere at one point when the show was like getting 1 million viewers a night. And so when I'd go out somewhere, like, I just couldn't go anywhere. I went out for a night out with my girlfriend at the time, and we were just sat next to each other, and we just didn't even get to speak to each other all night because people just constantly, like, while we were eating, where we were, like, just surrounding us.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, I get it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not rude and I've never been rude to anybody, and I never would be. And I sort of understand. I mean, I would never do it. Like, if I see someone who's on the telly, I don't go up to anyone and say anything. But I do understand that is a thing for some people. But so I've never been rude, but sometimes people just don't have no etiquette or manners. Like, you know, they just don't care. But you've also got to remember, like, the way I used to treat it was that person's first time coming up and speaking to me might have been the 100th person that's come up to me, but it's still their first time. Yeah. So I always try and be myself with them, no matter how I'm feeling, because I don't want to come across like I'm something I'm not either, just because I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, because you could have been amazing 99 times, and then just...
Yeah, and that one time is when, you know,
next
you
minute,
get called to me.
And look, all over the internet, and you're like...
But you know what? I'm past all that now. I'm past caring about that, because we live in a world now where it doesn't matter how nice you are, how sound you are, you get labelled something by somebody. There's always going to be people that don't like you, whether for whatever reason. But you can be the nicest person in the world, and someone's opinion of you or someone's perception of you can be so different to somebody else's. So I don't care about that anymore. That
comes across though. I mean, I've seen something that you posted recently.
What?
And you're very sharp, aren't you? I mean, the replies to what people put, because I mean, you can imagine some people that get really het up over that and like fed up and whatever. But you just sort of, it seems like you just relish in it and just.
No, to be honest, I quite like it.
Yeah.
I actually wished it was a bit more now. Like when there's not enough trolling comments, I think, oh, come on, give me a bit more. Or if you're gonna go, and do you know what the worst part is about trolls, right? Is that half the time we were talking to Bev before, saying that, you know, a lot of people troll online because they don't have to have that face-to-face confrontation, because I never get trolled in public. No one comes up to me and says anything to my face out of order, because there's that where you don't know how someone's going to react face-to-face. So they do it online because they don't have to deal with that confrontation, right? So the thing I noticed about online is they also think that if you've got a big following, that you're not going to see it. But I see it. And I like to let them know I've seen it as well, because half the time they flap it when you reply.
Yeah.
So like they'll say stuff, and then there's so many times, but because I don't say anything bad to them back, I just rinse myself. It takes them by surprise. They don't even know what to say. They don't know what to say now. Half the time they'll go, "I was only joking, mate. I'm sorry. I love your work. You just said my work was shit." You know. But I like it. I think it's funny. But I would prefer, if you're gonna say it, mean it. Just own it that you said it. If you think of it shit, that's fine. But just say it and mean it. You know, don't flap it now because I've pulled you on it. Just mean it. Take it. Like, if you're gonna say something, say it. But a lot of them. This is the thing about online. That's what they do. That's trolling.
So 3 years he's on the show for?
Yeah, I did 6 seasons, which was about 3 years on the show. Yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, I decided it's a show where we do cover-ups, and as much as I do cover-ups, I'm a black and grey portrait artist and realism artist, and I don't feel like the show actually reflects my best work. I can do it, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I was just doing it all the time, and also being on the show, you don't actually reap the benefits of being on it from, you know, people want to get tattooed by you, but I'm always filming the show, so when do I tattoo the people who actually want to pay me to get tattooed? So, and also they want to get tattooed like the stuff I want to do as well. So yeah, it got to a point where I was doing it, and I was tired as well of it. I've done it all now, and I thought, I want to move on to something else. I want to go and get my work. I want to go and show off now what I can I've got the platform to actually show what I can really do.
Yeah.
And, you know, take my tattoo into the next level, and just, prove to people what I can do. So that's what I did. I went away and did that. I feel like I've done that, So, I feel like I'm doing all right.
So how long ago was that when you left the show?
I left it 6 years ago, but then through lockdown, they put it on Netflix, and I don't get no royalties from that either.
Don't you?
No. When you're new to telly, you don't ask these questions, you know. They were like, when we first got on, they were like, you need a manager. I'm like, for what? And they were like, well, because they'll get you other work. And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm on telly doing tattooing. That's what else am I going to do? And they'd be like, no, they'll get you other stuff. And they did. They put me on like other shows and stuff like that. And then they were like about PAs in nightclubs and stuff. And I was like, what? You get paid to go out? And they were like, yeah. So they said, your manager, they want you to be in Southampton this weekend. What for? To go and do an appearance at a nightclub. And I've been thinking, what? Who wants to come and see me? Like, I'm a tattooist on telly. I'm gonna turn up at this nightclub. It's gonna be dead. You know, how embarrassing is that gonna be? So they put me in sketch together, and they said, you're in this nightclub, and then you're going on to this other one. I was like, right, okay. And they'll give you 500 quid. I was like, 500 quid? Sound? And they give you the free table and all this stuff for free. And I was like, wow, this is mad. I've been going to nightclubs and just waiting in queues and getting to the door, and they turn me away half the time. Go, you're not coming in tonight. Why? It's just not your night. And now I'm getting paid to go to nightclubs. It's mad. I just thought, this is a wild little world I'm just involved in now. And I'd meet like all these celebrities who all think they're somebody's. And I'm just like, but we're all just people. You know, like, I'm still the same person I was before. Why aren't you the same person, you know? So go to these nightclubs, and maybe this first one they sent, like, they pay for your hotel, send a car there. Like, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Picks us up, takes us to this club. No one outside. I thought, oh God, there's not even a queue. Oh my God, I thought I'm going to walk into an empty room here. This is going to be so embarrassing. My mates are going to rinse me for this. And they were like, I was like, is it busy in there? And they were like, rammed. And I was like, he's having us off. I walked in there, thousands of people screaming. I was like a little boy. I thought, oh my God, I feel like I don't know what to do here. And the thing is, with, like, at the time, the TV shows like Geordie Shores and all these lads are like party animals. I'm just not that guy. You can tell that these probably go into a scene like this and they're all over the place, you know, bouncing around on the mic and all that stuff. I'm thinking, wow, they're going to think this lad is boring. Yeah. And I walked in and they're screaming and they walk us on stage. I just feel like Justin Bieber. I'm walking on stage and they're all screaming and I just go, right? They're just like, and I could see the promoters going, I'm stood there going, what do you want me to do? Oh, it's embarrassing. And then, yeah, people queue up and have pictures with you, and I'm just like, ugh. It's just a mad world. I weren't used to it at all. At all. It was just a weird little setup. Yeah.
What's the weirdest cover-up you've had to do?
Oh, God. Weirdest cover-up. Do you know, I've tattooed so many weird people.
You said you didn't have a tattoo, so.
So, yeah. Do you know what? How professional I have to be, because the thing with tattooing, right? It's extreme. So, like I meet extreme people, like who have things that you'd think, hey, this guy's a weird guy, and I've got to spend 8 hours with him now. So I have to find things to talk about, you know. And I've met every kind of person you can think of, and then I don't know what I can tell you here.
Do you know what? It's not live, so it's fine. This will never leave this room.
Oh, God, I don't know if we're going to do this. I'll tell you.
Just tell us.
Okay. So this woman come into... Jordan knows loads because he films at my shop. But so this woman come into my shop once, and she came in with her mum who was like 70. Bear in mind, this woman was in her 50s. And the lad who we had helping out at the shop at the time comes up the stairs, and he says, I need you to come down and talk to this woman. I said, why? He goes, you're not going to believe what she wants. I said, what? So come downstairs. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Can I say this in here, yeah? Yeah. He says that he films at my shop every week, and he goes, don't worry, say it, and we'll just cut it out. And then he gives me the edits, and they're all in there. I'm like, you said you'd cut it out. So she says, so we go downstairs, my brother goes, what do you want? And she goes, and the mum, the 70-year-old mum, looks at her with disgust, like, tell him. And she goes, she wants a line above here, and and she wants it to say above it, if you get past this, you got to fuck it.
Wow.
That's not even some of the worst. Yeah, I know. So we was like, nah. We ain't doing that. And she was like, and her mum goes, I told her it's disgusting. I'm thinking, you brought your 70-year-old mum here and told her you want that there. So we were like, I don't know, we turned her away, said not doing that. So like there are things we will say no to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Trying to think what else. Oh, God. Do you know what? I'm trying to be professional as well here. Like not out people and, you know.
Nah, go on,
tell them all. Tell them all. And then this will come out and I'll be like, I can't believe I fucking said that. Can you think of any that I've told you? No, I can't say that. No. Yeah, so yeah, the things like tattooing's a weird world, right? I actually didn't know. So when I first started tattooing, obviously I worked in McDonald's, then in Asda, and in Asda, like the motto is happy to help, right? You get to tattooing, it's not the same. It's the customer's always wrong in tattooing. It's just like because the way they used to say it was like, you know, we're the artists, we know what we're doing. And there is that to an extent, but there's like a balance between giving the customer what they want and you going how it's going to look right on the body and stuff like that. But in the shop, one of the shops I used to work in, it was just like, yeah, we're not doing that, go away type attitude. And it was like, but it's a weird world tattooing because it's one of those worlds where you can actually get away with being
people
like that.
Just accept it. They
just do accept it, yeah, because it's like, well, people just want to get tattooed. It's a bit of a rogue thing. Like I've tattooed people that you'd think wouldn't even have tattoos. Like in a million years, in mad places on the body, like people you wouldn't expect them to have certain things, and you just like, oh, it just shows like a lot of people have a lot of different sides to them, and it shows in this little tattooing world.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's classed as it's classed as a sin to be tattooed, isn't it? It's almost like this thing that it's the you know, people used to watch tattoo fixers who hate tattoos, don't like tattoos, but it's like a guilty pleasure to watch people get tattooed and go through pain and have mad tattoo and think, God, I'd love a tattoo, but I would never have something like that. And it opens the doors to see all different kinds of characters. I met all characters from all walks of life. And it's, yeah, so, and I've been doing that for 17 years, so I just feel like I've got a good grasp on people.
And when you see people and they've literally got the face and everything tattooed, have you done that before?
I've never tattooed on. I've tattooed people's heads, but I've never tattooed faces because, not for any other reason. I've never really been asked that much for it, but also they'd have to be heavily tattooed for me to do that because, you know, same for like hand. Anywhere that's on show, if you come in and you haven't got a tattoo and someone goes, yeah, I want my hand tattoo, and I say no because you haven't got a tattoo anywhere else, and that's on show and you can't cover that up. So, you know, we get a lot of lads who are young, who are like 18, 19, and go, yeah, I want my hand tattooed, but you haven't got a tattoo and you're only 18, you know, you don't know where you're at in life yet to go and put something extreme on your hand, you know, or on your neck and things like that. Because we do still live in a world where people do judge tattoos. It's got better, but if you rock up with at 18 years old to a business and you've got a big neck tattoo and hand tattoos, and that might stop you getting the job. So as a tattooist, I have a responsibility to also say, listen, mate, I don't think this is right for you. Like, I had a girl a few years back, and she came in and she showed me this picture of this tattoo, and actually the tattoo was on a man, and it was like a big tribal Polynesian-y type thing down the whole leg. And she goes, I want this. And I said, you want that? And she was like, yeah. I said, on your leg? And she said, yeah. I said, really? And she said, yeah. And she goes, I said, when did you decide you wanted that? And she went, last night. I said, last night? And she was like, yeah. I said, look, go away. I said, put it by your bed and look at it every day for the next 6 months. I said, if you come back to me in 6 months and you've done that, I said, I'll tattoo it on you. And she did. She went away. 6 months later, she came back and she goes, I still want it. Tattooed it. Loves it. But I feel like I have that responsibility to say, I think, you know, there's a show called Just Tattoo Overs. I don't know if anyone's seen that, where they, it was sort of on around the same time as ours, but where the concept is you go in with your mate and your mate picks a tattoo for you that you don't know you're having. And they do it for you as well. Or couples that are about like going to break up with each other and like get a dumpster tattooed on her and say you're dumped at the end of it. It's mad, honestly. If you haven't seen it, yeah, it's heavy. So, but my first thought on that was, how do the tattooists do it? Because I wouldn't be able to do that even as a joke. Like, I'd be like, this is on this girl forever. Like, it's funny for entertainment purposes on it, but this is a permanent thing on their body forever. And the problem is with tattooing is that because tattoos are permanent, you can make a decision on a whim to get a tattoo that can actually affect the way you look at yourself forever. I know so many people that have got bad tattoos that have completely destroyed the way they view themselves. They can't wear certain clothes because they're so embarrassed of it. They go on holiday, they can't wear certain bikinis because this tattoo's on show and it's embarrassing, and it's affected their confidence massively. That's why tattoo fixers, I love doing tattoo fixers, because we cover up those kinds of things, and now it gives people their confidence back, and that's a power of tattooing as well. And especially, like, I do a lot of portraits and realistic stuff of people who like may have lost their kids or their parents and things like that, and they want a portrait of them. Mate, honestly, when people have that, it's a weird thing, because I'll sit there for 8-9 hours tattooing a portrait of someone who's lost their kid, and I'm tattooing their kid's face on them. And I'll get to know these because I'm sat there for 8 hours. We talk about everything, and it's almost like therapy for them. Like, people will open up and tell me things that they probably have not even told their wives or their fellas, because there's a level of vulnerability with tattooing. For number one, because you're putting your trust in me to mark your skin forever. Number one. Two, I'm putting you through a lot of pain, so now you're vulnerable. And two, you're trusting that I'm not going to draw something I shouldn't on you, you know? So now you're already in a completely vulnerable position, and it's a weird way that it makes people open up and tell you things and stuff like that. Like, I tattooed a lad a few weeks ago, and he'd lost his little boy about 5 years ago. His little lad was 4, he had cancer. And he came to the shop, and I did a portrait of his little boy a few years ago. He came back to me like 2 weeks ago, just to do some more stuff on him. And as we got chatting, he said, you know, he's quite a quiet lad, really, but we got chatting about all different things, and we got onto the subject, and he said that he ended up telling me that his best mate had killed himself 2 years ago, and I haven't seen him for over 2 years. And I was like, wow, like, you know, he's lost his son, he's going through that, and now his best mate's killed himself. And I was like, so I ended up talking to him and stuff like that, and he was saying how he finds it hard, that, you know, he feels like he wished he could have done more, and I said, look, mate, you can't beat yourself up about that, because, you know, when people are in that sort of state of mind, sometimes there's nothing you can do. And you don't know that because they don't tell you half the time, right? So we ended up chatting for a long period of time. And I said, do you talk to anyone about it? And he goes, do you know what, mate? He goes, I've never spoke to anyone as much as I speak to you. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, he goes, it's weird. He goes, just when I'm getting tattooed, and the way I'm talking to you, he goes, I just felt like I could just share it. And I was just like, this is mad, because he's now put his trust in me, because obviously he saw that portrait I've done on his lad. He was about of his little lad. He's made up with that. We built like this connection through tattooing. And there's a lot of, like, people see tattoos on people and they just think tattoos. What I do with the portraits and the realism, it's a different, unique thing. And it's very, very special. And not a lot of people get to see it. It's one of those things that I think that alone could be a TV show in itself, because, yeah, I just think tattooing should be getting a lot more credit than it actually gets for what it does for people's, if you want to say, mental health. Because I speak to people on a daily basis who are going through some mad stuff, and they get tattoos as part of, like, to bring them some sort of comfort, and it works.
Would you do another show?
Depending on what it is. I've turned a lot of things down because they don't align with who I am as a person. You know, I get asked to do dating shows and stuff like that, and I'm just like, nah, it's not me. And, you know, people say, oh, it's good money. I don't care about the money. It's not about money for me. It's not. I didn't get into TV to just be famous for the sake of being famous. I got it to be famous for what I do, which is tattooing and drawing. And I don't want to be famous. People go, oh, there's that lad off that dating show. And people go, oh, there's Jay off Tattoo Fix. His tattoos are really good, you know. So that's why I wanted to do it. So dating shows and things like that was just not for me. And, you know, people in TV, like, you get loads of opportunities. People throw money at you, and big money as well. And I've turned a lot of things down. And I could, you know, I could be in a better financial position because I could have accepted those shows, but it's just not me. And I don't want to be known I want to be true to myself, and I've always gone in that direction by staying true to who I am. And sometimes that means turning down opportunity, that what other people may see as big opportunities, but it keeps my soul intact. So, and that's what I'm about.
What's the most famous tattoo you've done? Sorry, your favourite.
Oh, my most favourite tattoo? Probably, actually, one that we filmed last week, wasn't it? Yeah, I did a portrait of Harry Potter. Yeah, I'd say that's actually best. I'm actually releasing that in a few weeks, so I would show it you, but, I mean, I'll show you off camera, but we've been filming a vlog, haven't we, at the shop? Actually, the concept of talking to people, you know, I had a guy in last week who had cancer, stage 3 cancer, and he beat it within 9 months, so that's the sort of thing we've got on the vlogs and stuff like that. But yeah, so on one of them, I did a Harry Potter tattoo, which I'd say at this point is probably the best tattoo I've ever done. Yeah, so that'll be coming out in a few weeks.
So that'll be your favourite that you've done?
That'll be my favourite so far, yeah.
Will it?
Which is hard to say, because a lot of people have done really good tattoos and go, but what about mine? And I'm like, oh, I like yours too. It's not that I don't like yours anymore. Yeah. I've just got better. Yeah. Yeah.
If you could tattoo anybody, who would, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, dead or alive. It's not so much about tattooing them, really. It's more about who you're spending time with, I think, because I can tattoo anybody. But who would I like to spend 8 hours with? There's a lot of people. I like Beckham. I think Beckham's a cool guy. I'd like to speak to him. But then I think, yeah, I like Mike Tyson. I'd like to tattoo him. There's a lot of people. It's more about who they are. Inspirational people, really, that I'd like to speak to and maybe learn stuff from. And yeah. That's what it's about, really. Because I can tattoo anyone. And do you know what? It's funny. When you first start tattooing, you're so nervous. Like, first tattoo I ever did, I was shaking. And actually, I was tattooing it on my mate, and on my mate's brother, who was a psychopath as well. So my mate was like, Chris will have a tattoo. And I was like, yeah, but this is not going to be good. And he's like, he's not bothered. And I was like, no, I am bothered, though, if he doesn't like it. So, but yeah, and so that, but the more you do, the less nervous you get. So like now, I don't get nervous. Like people ask me if I get nervous tattooing people, I don't get nervous at all. So yeah, but if you'd have asked me to tattoo Mike Tyson when I was like 18, I wouldn't have wanted to do that.
You
But I
wouldn't
would
want
do it
to
now.
cock that up, would you?
No, definitely not. But no. But you make a lot of mistakes in tattooing, which, you know, a lot of tattooists will pretend they don't make mistakes. Every single tattooist makes mistakes or has made mistakes in the past, and they've learned from them. And no one starts tattooing and is perfect at it.
Do you tell someone, don't know if you make a mistake, you just go, shit, and you tell them, or do you almost just go, I'll colour that little bit in?
Well, depends if you can get away with it or not. No, so like, well, actually, I put the wrong name on someone once when I was like 19, but it weren't my fault. It actually wasn't my fault. So we used to have, in the shop I used to work in, it was like I said, you know, Seaside Resort, we have people one in, one out. And so we had a lad on the counter who used to talk to the customer, tell me what they want, make the stencil. And then it was like a conveyor belt. He'd give me the tattoo. I'd tattoo him, bang, while I'm setting up. He's sorting the next note, bang, do this. All day. So he's given me this woman sat down, he's given me these names. And I've stuck the stencil on her back. And she's looked in the mirror and she's gone, yep, like that. So I've sat down, I've tattooed her on her, right? So I'm like, right, we're done. She goes up in the mirror and she looks at it and she goes, that David's meant to say Daniel. And I was like, I looked at the lad on the counter and he goes, shit, sorry. And I was like, sorry, I've like tattooed it, the wrong name on it. Yeah. So she goes, it's okay, my ex-husband's called David. And I was like, that's even worse. Oh my God. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, you know, we were just talking and you said about your ex-husband, and as you were talking about him, I just wrote his name down. I was like, oh my God. But that was one of the first times I had to fix a tattoo. But I did fix it. I changed it to Daniel. Managed to change it to Daniel.
Did you just put like a line through it?
No, yeah, I've
Both
put
underneath.
void and stroke. No, so you've got the D and the A, and then you've got the V. So I linked the top of the V to make an N, and then we had like an ink that was called flesh tone. So I broke the bottom of the V up with that. So now I've got Danid. Then I've got the I and the D, but I used the I, and then I used the loop of the D to make an E that linked to the L. So now it says Daniel, and just hope that flesh tone
stayed
holds. But it did, so she was happy.
So it's the longest you can do is 8 hours sitting, is that?
Oh, no, you can do, well, I mean, I've tattooed someone for 12 hours once, but that's only because, again, I was working in that shop, like, I'd been tattooing about a year, and he said, this guy is from, like, I don't know, Devon or somewhere, and he's only down for a day and he wants a half sleeve. And I was like, what? Can't do that in a day. And he was like, well, you're doing it. And I was just like, so anyway, I tattooed this guy for like 12 hours, just did his whole forearm, because he was going back the same night. But I would never do that. Like,
how do you keep that level of concentration?
I didn't.
He's
God knows what that tattoo looks like now.
He's also got Daniel on his arm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard, you know, like sitting like this, you know.
Does it ache your neck and stuff?
Yeah, my posture's terrible now. You know, I used to be 6'2", but yeah, now my neck, my back, everything. I'm gonna be like that in a few years.
So obviously that's in one sitting, but what's been the longest sort of like tattoo that someone's had?
So like a back piece normally, I think I've done a back piece on a lad that took me 6 full days, not in a row. He was coming over a few months, but that's like, I mean, he could sit for longer. He could sit for like a solid 8 hours. I'll have like a half an hour dinner break in that, but I can't afford to take it any longer than that because I won't get it done. So yeah, 8 hour days, 6 hours. 6 days, sorry.
I mean, you must deal with some pom-pots. So, like, how, if you're sitting there for 8 hours, you know within the first minute or two.
I can tell when someone's walking up the drive to the shop.
So how do you occupy yourself in your own mind when you think, I don't even want to speak to you because you're just weird?
Because I'm professional.
He's never thought this.
Turn the cameras off, Jordan. No, yeah, look, I'm just used to deal. Like, I wasn't at the time when I first started tattooing, but you very quickly understand that you meet a lot of strange people. So you just get used to dealing with weird people. And I think I'm quite good at pulling any conversation out of anyone because I can't really sit in silence for 8 hours. So I have to find something out about you to talk about. So... yeah, I mean, you'll get the odd character who just literally will give you. Do you know what? Actually, 18, 19-year-old lads can't talk at all anymore. Like, me and my brother say all the time, this new generation, they've just got no chat at all. I don't know how anyone dates at that age, because they just don't. So I think they text each other. Because we've got lads that come in and go, "Hey, mate, you're right," and go, "Yeah. What do you want?" "I'll send you the email." "Yeah, where do you want it?" "Arm." "Well, yeah, where on your arm?" "Here." I'm thinking, wow, this lad, man, have you got a girlfriend? "Yeah." "How?" "How have you got a girlfriend?" So yeah, tattoo. Yeah, they're the hardest to deal with now. But yeah, I tattoo some crazy people. So like, yeah, from all walks of life.
Is there anyone that you've, apart from your brother's friends, you've actually been nervous of doing what you think?
No, I think the only person I would ever be nervous is tattooing my mum. Actually, yeah, 'cause she hasn't got a tattoo, and she does ask sometimes, because my brother's a tattooist as well, and she does ask about us doing a tattoo on her, and yeah, I don't know. That makes me a bit nervous. I don't know. I don't want to hurt my mum. You know, I mean, I don't mind hurting everyone else, but I just don't want to do that to my mum. I don't want to stick a needle in her foot and hurt her. You know.
Do you ever get it where you start and someone like yelps or whinges and you just think, "Fuck, this is going to be a long day"? This.
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. And I've had people pass out, and the worst thing about people passing out is they don't tell you they're gonna pass out, because you know they all try and brave it, and I think just say that you feel dodgy, but like they'll go like this, and I'll go, "You okay?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, do you want a break?" No, I'm fine. "You don't look fine." "No, I'm fine. You sure?" "Yeah, I'm fine, mate, I'm fine." Dunk. Out. And then they just clap, and all the chairs I've got wheels on them, so they go flying across the room as well. I'm just like, luckily I've got good reactions. But yeah, some people, it's men usually though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's guys usually. Women very, very rarely pass out. Men give it the big one. But they act all tough, but they aren't. I've tattooed some of the biggest, strongest looking guys, like people who look intimidating, and then you stick that needle in them and they're like little mouses. Honestly, it's like, oh, girls.
I suppose it's quite empowering, that, really, when you see them coming in and
Yeah.
then you just go and then they shrink into like the shell.
Yeah, I said, you know what, when I was younger as well, you get like, I used to work with this guy who'd been tattooing 30 years, and he was typical what you'd imagine a tattooist to be: big, huge guy, bald tattoos on his neck, his hands. He was an ex-paratrooper, like didn't care what anyone thought, would say the most mental things I've ever heard people say to people in the tattoo shop. And someone came into his shop once and said he used to hate people bargaining for the price, because for some reason people think they can bargain for the price of a tattoo, but you don't go to Asda and go to the till and bargain for your shopping. So like, he used to get really offended by it, right? So a guy came in and said that he wanted it's a weird one, wanted a unicorn on his arm, yeah. And he said, "How much will it be?" And Dylan was like, "Be 80 quid. And the lad's gone, "Do it for 60 and I'll have it." And he's gone, "Okay, come through." So he's gone through and he's tattooed it and he's left one of the legs off it. So he's gone, "When you got the other 20 quid, I'll put the last leg on it." Go on it. But yeah, so yeah, it was funny.
So what's next, mate?
So I can't actually say what's next, but I'm about to launch a business with my brother, tattooing, to do with tattooing, which I think is going to be pretty big. And we're actually going to launch it in the next couple of weeks, but we've been working on it for a good few months now. But you'll see it, you know, when I upload it next few weeks. But
You look excited.
I am actually really excited about it. I don't get, you know, there's a lot of things that happen where you try things and they don't work, and a lot of things, you know, I think a lot of people don't like to talk about things that they've tried and haven't worked out because they're scared of people seeing them as a failure and stuff like that. But you learn from your failures. Like there's some of the biggest things you learn from. In fact, you learn more from them than you do from the wins. The success, once you get the success, you've had it. Yeah. But what it takes to get to be successful, you've got to go through a lot of bad stuff to even get there. And the bad stuff shapes your character to become the person you're supposed to be. Like, I've seen that Ricky Gervais didn't start The Office till he was like 45. Like, that was his break. And you think, wow, he was 40. Ricky Gervais was 45 when he broke through and became Ricky Gervais. And look at him now. Look at the success he's had. And like, so people who are like going through their 20s and their early 30s and things aren't quite working out, it's not the end of the world.
KFC was like 65, 70 or something.
But he hasn't reaped the benefits of it,
How
really,
old,
has he?
69.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made KFC, died.
Stole the bed.
Damn it. I'd be pissed off. Yeah.
So if there's anyone young, aspiring tattoo artists or looking to do this as a career, what advice would you give?
So it's a really difficult industry to get involved in, because you can be a great artist and you could go to a tattoo shop. It's really hard to get an apprenticeship. And if you do get one, you're learning from someone maybe who's not that great at tattooing. So it's really difficult. It's a difficult industry to get in and then learn from someone who knows what they're doing properly and is actually really good at it, to teach you how to be really good at it. There's a lot of people used to think that you don't have to be able to draw. People used to say, do you have to be able to draw to be a tattooist? I'm like, do you really believe it? Is that a real question? Of course. You're like, imagine if you can't draw. So yeah, it's a really difficult thing to get involved in. I was just really lucky at the time. The timing was perfect. But I think there's a lot of people, we have a problem in the tattoo industry where what we call them is scratchers, and it's people that tattoo from home illegally. The reason is because they don't know, one, how to tattoo, so they scar people because they may go in too deep. And the cleanliness and the hygiene and stuff, they're not sterilising things properly. You know, when I first opened my shop, this council were actually dealing with a guy at one point who'd tattooed 4 underage girls with the same needle. Yeah, so like that's life-changing stuff, like, you know. And these are the parts of tattooing that people don't realise. They just go, yeah, my mate tattoos it out of his shed at home. Really? I'm going to tattoo out that dirty shed, you know, and catch hepatitis. You know, this is the dangerous part of tattooing. That's why some people just order a tattoo machine off eBay. I'll start doing it from home, and tattoo with my mates. It's dangerous, man. You know, so one is going to a shop. The tattoo industry is a really difficult one to monitor. It's something I'm working on with the council at the minute. I've been working with the council for a couple of years now, and how to prevent this from happening, and how to prevent, you know, people tattooing from home. One, it's illegal, but it's a slap on the wrist. But you might change someone's life with a disease, you know. So I'm actually working with the council at the minute on something that may help change that, and also help young people looking to get into tattooing do it professionally and efficiently. So that's what I'm working on as well. Cool. So hopefully we'll stop people getting horrible diseases like that. Yeah.
So I think we'll open up the floor.
Yeah.
But obviously, because not everyone's mic'd up.
Yeah.
If you give me a question, I'll repeat it, and then. So who's got a question? I knew you would.
Can you tell the story?
Come on.
I've just texted you next to the
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah. So I tagged this guy once. He was, I don't know if he was Romanian or something like that, and he came in and he wanted a portrait of his girlfriend, who was an Asian girl, and so he's got this picture of her and he wants it tattooed on his chest. So I sized it up. He's lying down. I started tattooing this portrait, and I said, "How long you guys been together?" And he went, "Oh, we're not together." I thought, "Oh my God, I'm tattooing a stalker." I was like, "You're not together?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "You thought she was your girlfriend?" He was like, "She is my girlfriend." I was thinking, "What, in your head?" And he goes, "No, she's married." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Hold on a minute, mate. What? She's married?" And he was like, "Yeah." So basically, she's in an arranged marriage, and obviously she's not in love. They're not in love, and these two met. And they want to be together, but she's in an arranged marriage and all that. So he's like, "We want to be together, but we don't." I said, "So are you going to be together?" And he was like, "I don't know." And I was like, I feel really uncomfortable doing this face now. So, but I had to do it. So anyway, yeah, tattooed the face on him, and he left. And then I think it must have been a year later, he messaged me and he said, "Hi Jay, I don't know if you remember me, but you tattooed a portrait of my then girlfriend, who's now my wife. about a year ago, and I was like, oh wow, they ended up being together and they got married, yeah. So he said the only problem is, in her religion, it's a sin to be tattooed. So her parents are telling me I've got to get it removed. So now he's like, so I need a cover up. I was like, what? So now you've got her face, you're with her, and now you've got to get rid of it. So yeah, I ignored him. Because I thought it was a good tattoo, and I thought, no, you can keep that.
That's sort of taking like manifestation to a whole new level, that isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like sticking someone's face on your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It was a scary few minutes. Like I thought, oh God, I'm tattooing a stalker. I'm gonna get. I don't know. I know I can't get done for it, but like, I feel like a bad person for doing it. What if she messages me and she's like, "You've tattooed a guy, a stalker"? So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Have you done any, obviously we're in a very football city, have you done any football cover-ups where people have gone a little bit too early with potential celebrations and then it's never been...
No, I haven't, but I've seen a lot of those, you know, people like before they think, I mean, Liverpool hopefully going to win the league this year. And if they bottle it last minute, you know, there are people to do that. I don't get it though. People do it all the time. You know, another thing is kiss of death is partners' names, man. Honestly, I don't think I've ever tattooed a person partner's name that stayed together. I think I'm the curse. Yeah.
If you want to split up with your partner, just come in to give it your tattoo.
Honestly, they do. They get their names, and I'm like, there was a lad once who had he'd been with his girlfriend for about 7 years. They had 4 kids together. This was in the old shop, and they split up, and he got with a girl. And they were together, like 2 weeks later, he got with this girl, apparently. Comes in the shop, gets Holly, her name, tattooed right across his neck, right? She split up with him because he got it. They'd only been together 2 weeks. And then he got back with his missus. So, and then they had another kid and named it Holly. That's true. That's a true story. I told you I meet weird people.
Is this all in real?
Yeah, that wasn't real, actually, yeah.
It sort of explains it, doesn't it?
You know what? When I moved to Ellesmere Port, they opened the shop. We had some customers from there, and they said to me and my brother, they said, "Where are you two from? You're not from round here." I said, "Oh, I'm from Rill," and she was like, "Rill?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You're not from Rill. You've got nice teeth."
Yes, I'm the one.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So, is tattooing regulated at all? Because I'm in education and I've never seen like an NVQ in tattooing or anything like that. Is it just like an unregulated scope?
Yeah, it is. So basically, if you wanted to be a tattoo artist, it's like I said before, all you need to know is the health and hygiene. So that the council will come in and they just basically ask you those questions about health and hygiene, you know, sterilisation of equipment and things like that. If you know that and you tick all those boxes, anybody can open a tattoo shop. Anyone here could open a tattoo shop and just put tattooists in it. That's how you get a license. The problem is, like I said before, is how are these people who've got licenses, they're doing bad tattoos.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, they're scarring people and things like things like that. Like there's a girl, I remember this girl once who had this tribal tattoo on the bottom of her back, and the tattoo was scarred so bad that when she got it lasered off, the tattoo shape was still there. The ink was gone, but the shape of it was gone, so because the artist had scarred her that bad. So these are things that...
And you can never fully get them removed, ever. It's always like a slight mark or everything.
Oh, you've had a good job, haven't you? Hers is, I mean, there's a time, but you can't literally see, like, it's nearly gone. So it's doing all right, and I'm going to promote because I've got a laser business as well. She's a liar. No, yeah. So there's not enough regulations with it, but that's one of the things like I'm working with the council to do now is finding ways where we can do that.
You almost need to have an accredited college, don't you, where you can teach people?
Yeah. Yes, you do. That's funny you should say that.
I'm saying that thinking...
speaking to somebody.
Like, he actually have. No, he hasn't. You know, as it was coming out my mouth, I was thinking, shut up, hands.
Ah, you just give it away. Sorry.
We'll edit that out, George.
No,
okay?
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Any other questions?
Do you design tattoos, people? Because I always think, like, you've got an idea of something in your head, but you don't know how to... And whenever you speak to tattoos, they go, I don't want to bring the ideas to you. You've got to bring it to me. And I always find that hard, if you've got an idea.
Yeah, so it's... The way it works is if someone, I need to know something about what you want, because some people go to me, just do whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, but what I like and what you like it could be completely different things, right? So I need to have an idea of what you like. So I tell people, like, normally when people have an idea about getting tattooed, they've either seen someone with a tattoo or seen a design on the internet. There we go. Oh, I like something like that. Well, all you need to do is show me that then. This is an idea for me. This is the kind of thing I like. All right, so you like angels and, you know, roses or clocks and whatever it is. You show me that. I now have a concept in my head, but I might have done a million of those, but I want to make yours different. So I'm thinking now I need to do this differently for you. So then I will do a design then for you. But obviously, I get a lot of people who message me saying, can you design me a tattoo? And I was like, yeah, if you're getting tattooed by me. Because I could spend ages doing a design, you go somewhere else, and that's how it gets paid for it. You know? Yeah. So, and plus with timings with customers, I have to work on everyone's design individually. So I might have one in tomorrow, the day after. I need to give them that specific time. So I can't do regular designs for people who aren't getting tattooed by me. But that's just how tattooing works, you know. But I also don't start designing until they pay a deposit and book in as well, just to secure the space. Because you get, like, used to, like, when I worked in the old shop, they never used to take bookings. I never used to take deposits. So they book in, I walk in, and no one will turn up. It'd say on the calendar, Dave, tattoo. Where's Dave then? Where's Dave? Dave's not coming today, is he? You know, no money either. Great. And that's just how it was, yeah.
Anything else?
You mentioned about the long days, and obviously you mentioned before about the fact that no one really noticed when you were getting stressed, and then you kind of build up.
Yeah.
Have you ever actually thought of packing it in altogether?
Tattooing? Yeah. Yeah, when I first started tattooing, yeah. It's a really, like, I could always draw, but turning that from drawing with a pencil to on someone who's moving, that it's not a flat surface, the machines are heavy, it's vibrating, and you're doing it and you've got one shot at it, you can't mess it up or rub it out. That is a lot of pressure to, you know, get past. And it takes a long time to do that. So about 6 months into tattoo, and it was a weird process, because I do a tattoo and I think, oh, that's good. And then I do another one and think, oh, that shit. They would never know that. I'd never let on to that because I keep everything bottled up. So about 6 months in, I was at a point where I thought, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get the hang of this. But something in me just wouldn't allow that to happen, because I knew I wanted to be a tattooist. I was passionate about it. I thought, this is what I want to do. So I stuck at it. And there was this one tattoo I did that changed the whole game for me. I did this realistic ship on this guy's ribs. And I just knew after that tattoo I was going to do it. I was going to be good at it. Cause I don't know what it was. I can't even explain it to you. But I just picked up something in that. I thought, that was my breakthrough for me. But no one would have known that. It was just something I knew in my own head. That was my breakthrough tattoo, and that's what made me push on and carry on. And from there on, I was just got more consistent at doing good tattoos and got used to it a lot more. So, but yeah, I was definitely at a point of packing it in. Not so much because of the stress, but more of not being able to thinking, can I get the hang of it? Yeah, huge responsibility. Again, like I said, you know, if I do a bad tattoo on someone, it can change their confidence, the way they look at themselves, all that. That's a lot to take on, and I don't think there's a lot of people who just have a go at tattooing and don't think about the responsibility of what they're doing when they are actually tattooing somebody. Yeah, so.
Last question. Sum yourself up in 3 words.
Oh my God. Driven, passionate, arsehole. No. I'm joking.
Get that on as a
I don't know. Driven, passionate. Disciplined. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mate, thank you very much. It's
been
an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thanks. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to me. Thank you. Thank you very much.